So, we did watch the Black Cauldron yesterday on Halloween, but as we were trying to record, the camera immediately died. So, it's a slightly belated Halloween episode about the BC, the Black Cauldron, that Clay has finally watched for the first time. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? How do you want to do the BC?
Well, I'll go ahead and lay it out for you. So,
Alright.
I have to admit I was a little disappointed because...
You thought it was going to be far worse than it actually was?
Yes, but at the same time, it's like I was disappointed twice over. Mm-hmm. I was disappointed for the first time because the movie's not nearly as bad as I thought it was. This legendary movie that almost destroyed Disney's animation studio. You know, a massive box office flop. I looked it up when we were watching the movie. It was like
20 million under or something.
20 million under, around that. That's
a lot.
That's a lot in 80s money too. And at the time, it was the most expensive animated film ever produced. And it's like you expect a movie that flopped so hard to be just this absolute train wreck of a movie. But it wasn't. But at the same time, it wasn't this hidden classic that was misunderstood for its time. I'm trying to think of an example of that, like a movie that, like The Thing. Like when The Thing came out, I think it was a flop. Nobody liked it.
And now it's considered one of the greatest horror movies ever.
Yeah, and I consider it, like, it's one of my favorites as well.
Oh, for sure.
But it's like, this movie, it's not massively disappointing. It's not a hidden gem. It's just kind of a shit movie.
Okay.
Like, it's not a good movie. It's not a bad movie. I wouldn't even say it's an okay movie. It's like it's...
Slightly below average?
It's not even slightly below. It's just below average.
Okay.
It's... And I think, really, the problem with it is it has a lot of interesting shit, but...
Such as?
Like, the concept of the Black Cauldron, the Horned King is a really cool antagonist, mostly because of his appearance and just him being voiced by John Hurt, and them just echoing, a very echoey John Hurt. Mm-hmm. But I've never read the original books, The Chronicles of Pridwen. I do know this is an adaptation of the third book, because the third book is the Black Cauldron.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. It's interesting. But they do change some things from the book, like apparently like the bard Flood is in the book, he was like around like 20 or so, and here he's like an old man, and or other things. Most notably, like Taran's character, where it's like Taran was a lot better in the books. He still had to learn lessons about, you know, like being a hero and stuff like that, but here he's really annoying and not really that useful. The only times he's actually useful are when he finds the magic sword, and even then the magic sword does doing the work, because like there's like that scene near the end where the magic sword's just going whoosh. He's not even holding it, it's fucking cutting shit up by itself. And it's like Taran as a character, he's not very endearing. Because it's like, okay, like we joked at the beginning, he's a Disney princess. He's like, I don't want to but just be a pig keeper.
Assistant pig
keeper. I want to be more. I want to be a great hero. And it's like, that's fine. You know, it's okay if that's what you want to do. The problem is that a big part of his character is that he keeps dreaming about it. And that is what causes a lot of problems in the movie, is his daydreaming. Because, like, the pig gets captured because he was daydreaming and not doing his actual job.
Isn't it the only time that happens? I mean, I'm not to excuse it, but you made it sound like that's something that happens frequently throughout the film. I think it literally happened once. It was a big goof.
That was a big goof. But then it's like, later on, it's like, oh, there's that scene where he's just like, oh yeah, I got us out of the Skull King's keep. And, like, the... Luen? I forgot what her name is.
Elanwy, I think.
Elanwy. She's like...
The actual princess of the
She's
movie.
like, I actually got you out of there. What the fuck?
Me and the sword got you out. You barely did anything.
Yeah.
But only a great warrior can use a sword like this.
it's just like he's just not a very endearing character. So even when he gets his like lesson of like self-sacrifice and stuff like that, it really is just like, I mean, I don't feel like he's really earned it. It doesn't feel like he's changed too much. And it's just kind of a mess of a movie. It has a really weird pacing. It has really weird, it feels weird going from scene to scene sometimes, where it's like, it feels like a mess. I guess that's the best way to put it, is it feels like they shortened the book. And it's kind of like when you watch Ralph Bakshi's The Lord of the Rings, because he tried to put the Fellowship of the Ring and the Two Towers into one movie. And it's an hour-and-a-half movie. When you've got the...
I haven't seen it. Did it work? Did it almost maybe kind of work?
It didn't. It's certainly an interesting movie to watch because of a lot of the weird animation techniques they used, and it is just kind of charming watching The Lord of the Rings in animated form, but it doesn't work, and neither does this. It feels like a mess, and I have to admit, even the thing I like the most about this movie, The Horned King, is a major disappointment by the end, because it's like, okay, he's finally summoned his army in a really cool sequence, and Gurgi sacrifices himself to stop the cauldron, and the Horned King comes downstairs and he's like, what the hell are you kids doing? And he's like, oh, it's you, you're the one who's fucking things up, and he's like trying to grab the kid, and the kid like kicks him, and he's just like, he stumbles back a little bit, he's like, oh, I'm still gonna get you. Oh wait, never mind. Oh, because it's like, it's not even like he kicks the Horned King and the Horned King stumbles back into the cauldron. He kicks him, and the Horned King is just like still like he like gets knocked back a little bit, and he's still like walking around. And it doesn't like seem like the cauldron sucking him in is affecting him that much. And then all of a sudden, then he like gets sucked back in. It's just like, I feel like we skipped something. Like, I feel like we skipped a scene where like someone like throws a fucking rock at his head and he like ting, and he falls backwards or something. It's like, there was no tension in that scene at all, and it's really bizarre. And the whole movie's kind of like that, where it's just like, it feels like we're missing bits, or they put too much emphasis on certain other things in the shot. And it just feels like a weird mess.
What do you rank this movie? I am fascinated.
That's the thing, because it's like, it's not a good movie at all.
It's not in the higher echelons, but I don't even think you're gonna put it.
It's not
that low.
It's not like an F tier movie. It's not like the Three Caballeros, because it's like there are
Sword
things,
in the Stone,
or Sword in the Stone, because there are things that I like about it. It's clear where the budget went, because this is actually a really well animated 100%. Movie. I feel like there are times though where it's almost like they had too much money when they're like, oh yeah, let's put a bunch of money in this scene in particular, and it's like it didn't need it. There are also just weird inconsistencies, like the Horned King throughout the entire movie, most of the movie, was really consistently drawn, and then there's like the end and the climax where all of a sudden the man has fucking eyes. Like, he's got these red eyes, and it's like he didn't have these before, and it's all of a sudden he just has these red eyes, and I'm like, did another animation team take over for the climax? That might explain why it's so inconsistent and kind of flat. Okay. That's what the climax feels like. It feels like very flat. There's no tension. There's no stakes, really.
I feel like you want to put this in like a C- tier.
I feel like the only reason it's not a D tier is because I do think the animation's really good. And also because it does have that really classically animated feel. Like I was telling you guys
what we were talking about with the Rescuers?
Yeah, where it's that kind of audio mixing and just like the very, very nostalgic kind of animation quality. So it's like, it's a pretty film, but it's all style and very little substance. Because like I haven't even gotten into the other characters where it's like, I like Elenwe because she doesn't take anybody's shit, and she seems like the only competent person here. You got the Bard, who has exactly one scene at the very end. That's why he's here, I guess, because he's the one who actually makes the bargain with the witches and actually kind of fucks with them. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, that's kind of the only reason you're here, and also because you were in the books. But and again, having never read the books, I don't know how much of a role he plays in the books themselves. Mm-hmm. Oh fuck! I haven't even gotten to Gurgi yet. This is a D tier movie. I just thought of Gurgi, and all of a sudden, I
actually noticed you, never said anything about Gurgi during the movie, except this is where Andy Serkis probably got his Gollum voice.
Oh, it's definitely where he got his Gollum voice.
That's the only thing I heard you say. You never even were like, man, I hate him, he's so annoying. So I thought you thought Gurgi was fine.
Oh, I was saving it.
Oh, okay.
I was saving it for this. Dude, Gurgi made me want to tear my beard out.
But Master, don't munchies and crunchies.
I will strike you. I will.
No, Your Majesty, let me.
See, Creeper was kind of funny sometimes. But it's like, Gurgi is so goddamn annoying. Oh my god, it's like as soon as I heard him started talking, I'm like, oh no. He's with us the rest of the movie, isn't he? It's like, oh, Gurgi sacrificed himself, and all I could think in the back of all I could think of in the back of my head was just Willy Wonka going, stop, no, please come back. Oh no! It's like, I guess that's kind of heartwarming that he sacrificed himself and shit, and that they they saved him by the end of the movie, I guess, but it's also just like, I mean, oh, he's so annoying, and I was looking it up. I was talking to a friend on Discord about it last night, and you're going to see a lot of characters like Gurgi in the upcoming movies, because Michael Eisner, the CEO
of Disney hear about that. So
loved Gurgi so much.
What are those characters?
I would say Fidget from the next movie.
Okay, Fidget. Okay, that makes no, not
the Great
Mass Detective. Okay, Fidget makes sense.
Since I haven't seen Oliver and Company, I can't say for sure.
Maybe it's like the little Chihuahua, probably.
It might be. Basically, is there a character that is small with an annoying goddamn voice? It's probably because Michael Eisner wanted a Gurgi in there.
Do we have one of those in the Renaissance movies? Abu? Maybe?
I would say so. But I actually like Abu.
Oh yeah, Abu's great.
Abu's great.
I don't know if there's
Stitch is what Lilo and Stitch is what happens when he is a main character, but of course I can't say anything.
Yeah, I mean everyone loves Stitch, so Stitch is Gurgi done right, I guess.
Yeah.
Is there one in Little Mermaid? I don't think so. Oh, and imagine the Joanna,
Joanna!
Those are not Joanna eggs! I can see Joanna being a Gurgi.
Being a Gurgi. Okay. You're gonna have a Gurgi count as we watch
the Gurgi count? Okay, so is it my turn to talk about this movie?
Yes.
Because I think this is already longer than the Winnie the Pooh video.
Oh, clearly.
So, would you believe me if I said this was an S-tier movie for me?
I would say you were a lying piece of shit.
You're right. But it is an A-tier movie. I love this movie. There is part of a genuine love and an ironic love at the same time. Love. No, it's not like that. Because I watched this movie a lot as a kid. I remember adoring this movie. Because for some reason, me as like a 7-year-old, like, this is the greatest movie ever, and I watched it all the time. Then I watched it as a teenager, and I was like, this movie's dumb. This movie's bad. This makes no sense. The pacing's terrible. Like, who are these people? They don't really add anything, blah, blah, blah. This was the first time I'd seen it. I don't know if I'd say a decade, but close to that. Really close to that. I really had a lot of fun with it. I think part of it is it's gorgeous to look at. I love the animation in this movie. I love a lot of like the colors and weird effects. Like the Horn King I think looks cool. But in addition to that, like there's a scene where he shows up and there's all this like mist and lightning, or when he's using the cauldron, you get this like really eerie green mist, and there's this big like head in the sky above it.
There's blood coming out of the cauldron.
Yeah, we actually noticed like Taryn was bleeding at one point. Like, is what is this red water? I don't think we've actually seen blood in a Disney movie. Like, maybe Maleficent, I think, but
yeah, Maleficent
was it red or was it green?
I think it was
I actually
red,
don't remember.
If I remember correctly, it was red.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like you don't see a lot of blood in Disney movies. Like, heck, I remember Pixar, I think, had like one instance of blood, and that was Up when, Carl fucking hit the dude on the head. And then you had the guy just
there had to have been some Incredibles. Probably, I don't think a whole lot, but I think there was probably a little.
I don't think so. I don't think there was blood in Incredibles, actually.
Was there not?
I don't think so. I don't remember seeing any.
But so, anyways, I really, really, really like the look of this movie. I really, really, really want the Horn King in a Kingdom Hearts game. I have been wanting the Black Cauldron in Kingdom Hearts since I was aware of Kingdom Hearts.
Were they going to do that in Kingdom Hearts 3? Because I could have...
I remember there being a big rumor it was going to be in Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, I remember, before Kingdom Hearts 2 was coming, I was like, alright, it's going to have this movie, it's going to have this movie, it's going to have this movie, it's going to have the Black Cauldron. I was like, ooh, yes! And I still haven't gotten it.
I wonder if that was why they made remember the Cauldron minigame in Pirates of the Caribbean World? Where you had to, like, knock the enemies and put the gold back into the cauldron and shit?
I think that's just because Pirates of the Caribbean.
I mean, yeah.
That's literally...
But, I mean, honestly, it's undead. It's undead skeleton monsters, and then there's a big, like, magic chest/cauldron kind of thing. It's like,
should I start calling you Mr. Fantastic?
Because I'm stretching?
Yeah,
okay.
Because that is like a reach, my guy. Like, I know you've been reading One Piece, but you didn't eat the go-go fruit. We have stretched adult. But, I don't hate Yergi. I like Yergi. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think his voice is that annoying. I really don't. Now, is he really funny? No. Is he, like, super charming? No. But I don't dislike him, really. Taron, yeah, I think he's fine. I do like him a lot by the end of the movie, where he's like, alright, there's a lot going down. If someone has to sacrifice themselves to stop the cauldron, I'll do it. I feel like a lot of this is my fault, and, if I want to be a great hero, that's something that great heroes do. I am willing to die for the greater good because someone has to. I actually really respect that from him at the end of the movie. The princess is a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. She really does not take anyone's shit. The bard, I like his harp. It's like if he tells a lie, a string breaks. Like, that is hilarious. Would have loved to have seen more of that in the movie. Like, that sounds like a great thing in a D&D campaign. Like, this is my magic item, or like, this is my focus or something. But if I tell a lie, I could see a warlock having that. It's like if too many strings break, like your relationship with your god or your patron is just severed. So
yeah, that would be great.
Like, you have to tell the truth, even if it's really bad for you. That sounds so much fun.
Liabilities are the most fun thing about a D&D character, honestly.
You got a magic sword. The sword's cool. I like Creeper. I think Creeper is pretty funny. That's just how much the Horn King just, like, hates it. Let's see. Oh, the witches. Okay, so I had completely forgotten about the fairies. Most everything else in this movie I remembered, at least to some degree. Like, I remember the witches, I remember Gurgi sacrificing himself, I remember, like, the cauldron can't be destroyed, the Horn King gets a super army. I remembered a lot of this movie. That was a whole, like, 15 minutes. Was a blank. Or however long that section was.
It was like 10 minutes, but I know Dolly, or the Grumpy Fairy, is a main character in the books. Oh. But in that, he's a dwarf?
I mean, I know nothing about the books. I've never read them, never really looked into them. But
maybe they're good.
I had completely forgotten about that part of the movie. I don't remember how goofy the part with the witches was, but I enjoyed it. And he had one that was, like, super thick, and I'm like, I'm a man of culture. I can appreciate those. But And
then there was the pig, and I like the pig.
Hey, you got the pig.
I like Kenwin. She's fine.
I like
oracular
pig. I like this movie. I feel like I like this movie way more than I should. And genuinely more than I should. but I do. It's surprisingly, it's an A-tier movie. And because I mean, it's not like